Story that would be hard to believe if it didn't come straight from Hunter Biden himself. Texts, emails, raunchy photos, and rambling voice memos. You can't sink this low and not have any repercussions without a lot of help. And Hunter Biden got plenty of it from people who had a lot to gain through knowing his father. If his relapse started with booze, it quickly escalated to include extended crack binges and sex marathons with multiple prostitutes, many of which he memorialized on pictures and videos on the laptop, which, as you'll see, a number of investigators have concluded is genuine. The Bidens haven't denied it is, and Hunter himself has conceded there is a possibility it could be his.
Honestly, babe, the problem is you have too many girls there. I understand you like a lot of girls, but that's fine to do one at a time. At the tops, too.
Hunter's debauchery would last years and be funded by foreign oligarchs who calculated the vice president's junkie son had plenty to offer them. But the cash pouring in wasn't enough to meet the needs of the rest of the Biden family, who sent Hunter invoices to pay big and small. For instance, an email titled JRB Bills detailed Hunter was paying hefty tabs to keep up his father's Delaware mansion. In one payment cycle, $1,239 to the builder, $1,475 to the painter, $2,600 to the contractor, and $475 for shutters. Fortunately for the Bidens, Hunter's raging drug and alcohol addiction didn't scare away powerful business suitors. Just the opposite, it seems.
They latch on very quickly to China. Everybody knows that to do business in China, it's based on political connections, not just connections in Beijing, but the connections you have in your own country. It's about having what they call guanxi, which is sort of, are you juiced in? And it's hard to find a small firm that is more juiced in than Rosemont Seneca Partners. In 2010 and 2011, Hunter Biden starts taking trips to Beijing, China.
After one trip, Hunter enthusiastically emailed his Chinese host.
You are the best. Just give me my marching orders.
They're not meeting with low-ranking people. They are meeting with the sort of top tier of Chinese finance. This is a small sort of rinky-dink financial firm that's only been in business for 18 months. And yet these doors magically open.
The magic word was Biden, as Hunter confirmed in an email to his business partner, Devon Archer.
It has nothing to do with me, and everything to do with my last name.
In May 2013, Vice President Joe Biden pulled strings to get his 43-year-old addict son an unlikely commission in the Navy.
One of the most curious stories about Hunter Biden that we know of is that he actually tried to enter the Naval Reserves at a fairly old age. He got an exemption in order to be able to enter. He got another exemption because he had had a drug issue in his past. But connections help, and with Joe Biden, his father, being vice president, he's able to get in.
We have a lot of bad judgment in my family. My son, who's over 40, just joined the United States Navy, is about to be sworn in as an officer. Hunter Biden.
Like Hunter's Yale law degree, his military service was a credential his father was quick to boast about. Too quick, it turns out.
Hunter doesn't even make it through his first weekend in the Naval Reserve. He's caught in a drug test with cocaine in his blood. He makes up a cock and bull story about how he was outside a bar the night before and someone handed him a cigarette. It must have been laced with cocaine.
But a never-released statement drafted on his laptop presumably is closer to the truth.
After 10 years of sobriety, I relapsed at possibly the most inopportune time. The guilt and shame I have felt over letting my family down was indescribable. I sought an age waiver at 42 years old to serve in the U.S. Navy. I dishonored that great privilege, and for that I am deeply ashamed. But I also know that I cannot allow one moment in time to define me.
Hunter's brother Bo, a vet who served in Afghanistan and then became Delaware's Attorney General, brought him home from the base. Bo was seen as a future Senate candidate. Joe believed he was presidential timber. But dreams of Biden political dynasty dashed 2 months later when Bo received a death sentence diagnosis: brain cancer. The Bidens prayed for a miracle, but also got back to business. In December 2013, Hunter flew to Beijing on Air Force Two after his father was picked to be President Obama's point man on China.
It's not just Joe Biden bringing his son along because he likes him and he wants to chat to him on the plane. This is American power come to do business. Hunter Biden is recognised as a princeling. This is a unique creature in China. Instead of giving the money directly to the minister, to the person in charge, you give it to their son, their grandson, their wife, a relative. Hunter Biden was brought there openly as Joe Biden's representative.
We do know that during this visit that Hunter Biden introduced his father to one of his Chinese business partners. And then within 10 days of them returning to the United States on Air Force Two, one of the big deals for Hunter Biden gets closed. It's called Boei Harvest. It's a $1.5 billion private equity deal.
Peter Schweitzer believes China got its quid pro quo when Joe Biden pushed questionable policies favored by Hunter's business partners.
In that December 2013 trip, they're pressing him to take a very hard line on the South China Sea, on trade issues, on human rights. He's decidedly not hardline. He's very soft. And I would argue that aligns very, very nicely with the fact that his son is trying to finalize this deal in Beijing with an entity that is connected to the Chinese government itself.
Around that time, Hunter forwarded Devon Archer a New York Times article titled, "Biden May Take on Expanded Role in Foreign Policy in Second Term," and added the comment,
"If we can't figure this out, we should be shot."
"7 months later, in July 2014, Hunter returned to rehab, this time in Tijuana, Mexico, where he was treated with toad venom. He claims it kept him sober for a year. Around that time, he gave up Secret Service protection, though it is unclear how many of Hunter's foreign escapades Secret Service did attend, as the agency has redacted records about Hunter's travels to countries like Russia, China, and Kazakhstan. Regardless, the international man of mystery forged ahead and found another source for big bucks, thanks to a lucrative energy deal in Ukraine.
The spring of 2014, Hunter Biden strikes up this relationship with Burisma, which is this corrupt Ukrainian energy company that involves Ukrainian government officials.